I can already like taste the feeling of like being in finals and like playing against G2, probably having another rematch. But I think like outside of G2, I think like Rogue and Schalke should be the next best teams.
Will the sleep come in? It does, and Roman, they don't know he's here. Full sleep, massive all the across the entire time, but no, still don't want to do so much damage, still trying to find a way out. Gilly is simply next on the list. Gillies, no! Not like this. The triple Abadage wants to turn it, but it's not going to happen. Oh, I love it! Special, the kind of block into the face breaker. Reckless going to be the first target here as he goes down.
Winning the LEC would be really cool to stop the G2 and Fnatic dynasty. And I think we have a really good shot at winning LEC. So I really hope we can take this chance and actually win it, because I think we can do it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LEC studio. And after a massive comeback, it's Fnatic who are on the verge of taking down G2. A win that could turn the tides in this playoff race completely. And we're going to talk about trends across all of the games we've seen, but not before we talk about that last game. Kendall, what the hell?
I don't know, they had 3 dragons with Oceans already, they had bot lane with 17 minutes, 18 minutes, they had 10 to 1 in kills, and then Fnatic just get 3 shutdowns, they rush the Baron, they get the Baron, and people will know when you take an early inhibitor and the enemy team has Baron, you're essentially bleeding waves bot while not being able to force anything.
And if G2 lose this series, this is the moment that we'll point back to. Because we remember back to the Caps, the Zig satchel, that was like a single moment, small mistakes where he could have won against Mad Lions. People remember that. But this is even worse, because this is everyone simultaneously choosing to run it down, to throw it all away. Now maybe in their heads, that there's no way that they do not close out this game, but Fnatic punish. You give them the opportunity and they make it work. They crawl back into this game. Reckless has been farming like a monster the entire time, and now he is powering through these team fights.
Exactly. Fnatic still took the throw. They caught the throw and then continued pushing, and in the end, Nemesis also stepped up. Reckless did a lot with the farm that he had built up throughout that game. And now let's look at this next game and the previous 3 ones through both teams' lenses. And let's start with Fnatic. Now as Fnatic, you go from kind of situation that was kind of hopeless after you kind of get stomped in game 2, then it's not going well for you in game 3, but now it's completely different, and you have an opportunity to finally turn the tides, to cast away that shadow that you've had on top of you from G2 for the last 2 years.
I mean, when we look at it, this has just been, in past years, it's been a rivalry. Everyone will point back to the double best of 5 as the strongest moment in this rivalry. Now, G2 came out on top, but this year, Fnatic have done nothing, right? These are the first 2 wins that they found against G2 the entire year, and this is massive news for them. So from a momentum standpoint, they have to be feeling good. And from a rivalry standpoint, finally, Fnatic fans can go, this is a rivalry. We are not the team that can
Doesn't matter how we got there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how we got there. This is not just another stepping stone for G2, and I think that that is a very big deal for the players on this team who are constantly surrounded by drama, constantly surrounded by speculation. To just be able to come out, have a fantastic performance today, it's huge.
And the fact they went 0-7 throughout the whole year and then managed to pick up 2 wins already in this best of 5 in just 3 games, I think, like you said, the momentum's definitely in their favor. They need 1 more win to take the whole thing. So Fnatic, we know they've been creative in the playoffs against Rogue and stuff like this, so if they come up with something crazy, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, exactly. And in the same vein, I also don't want to go too far, because as the casters already said, any team but G2, you think, well, this is a done deal. Not G2 Esports, though. They are definitely going to fight back. Let's talk about a little bit of the keys in this series, starting with the jungle matchup, Jankos versus Selfmade. Cadwell, who has been performing the best for you so far?
Well, I think Selfmade's been playing his scaling junglers, and he's doing a really good job. I mean, he's doing so much farming. It's crazy. This guy's having like 250 CS in like 30 minutes. It's unbelievable. And he's doing insane damage in fights. He's one-shotting perks when he goes for mid-waves, one-shotting perks in team fights. But Jankos, he's doing his early game.
One-shotting perks.
He's one-shotting perks on his tech room. But Jankos is doing his job right. He's picking set, barring the first Lilia game. He's picking set, he's getting early game advantages. And once you're the set and you give your laners this lead, if they throw it, it's not really on you. You can't do much. You're going to be 2 levels down no matter what in these matchups.
So outside of the junglers, is there any position, Dracos, that you want to call out specifically?
I mean, the 2 positions with the most agency in any game is going to be jungles and supports, and this is no different here. Of course, Hylissang and Mickey, I think this was not necessarily the game where they stood out the most. You thought a lot more in the previous games than this one, but still, at the end of the day, Hylissang flashing forward Twippo, working very well to find that turn and burn when G2 did overextend, and these are the guys that we need to look at, because the Nautilus pick is very clearly important, and if there's ever a situation where Hylissang or Mickey are forced onto a Braum or forced onto a catch, that just feels honestly like GG in draft, because these guys are so crucial to getting anything done for their team.
Yeah, and you've got the keys picks on the screen here. You can see Fnatic banned out LeBlanc last time on the 1-2-3 bans on the first rotation, just so that they could blind the Orianna. I think that's something they were scared of in the game too, and that's why they defaulted to a mid-counter pick. But I think these 3 champions are so impactful right now. Nautilus, it seems to be popping up, making these picks, and it's being able to roam across the map in these early, when Drake's up and stuff is for Herald and swaps. Hecarim is farming so well. I'm not sure if G2 want to take Selfmade off it. It's looking kind of scary, but you don't want to give him Evelyn either. And the Orianna blind pick is just so strong.
And I also think, from the side of Fnatic, and we have to say Fnatic were the underdogs coming into this, so the fact that they are a game up, no matter what happens in the next game, that must give them a little bit of leeway now to go into this last draft and get, hopefully, the optimal draft to close it out, and if not, they have another chance. The G2 will want to fight back. They are again on blue side. We've seen no changes in that regard throughout the entire series, so will we get a different result in Game 4?
It'll be very interesting. G2 are a team that notoriously hide picks until they're forced to bring them out, so wouldn't be surprised to see something new, to see something special here when it really is down to the wire as they show us something that they have been working on. But at the same time, I feel like they did win that game. They did throw it away at the end of the day. So how much does G2 really feel like they need to do past pull their, foot off the gas pedal for 30 seconds when they're absolutely going to win?
That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, I think G2's comps are good. The early game's working for them. They had 10-1 in kills, they had 3 dragons, they had bot in hit. Like, what more do you want from a draft, right? I think they should run it back. There's nothing wrong with this draft. Perks, Caps is popping off on the mages, Mickey's popping off on the roaming supports. Perks, I think he's a little bit of a weak point for them right now. I see his CS numbers are really low compared to Reckless. I'm not sure if that's because Perks is overgrouping or they're just giving more resources to Caps or Reckless is split pushing too much. I haven't really identified the reason for that, but I'm just curious to see if Perks can keep up the CS.
Usually we're against the salty run back. This is kind of the sweet run back. This is, yes, we know this is working and all you have to do is close it out.
It's not salt, it's the sad run back. Sad run back is when you technically won the game and then threw it all away. That's the sad run back. I don't think they're upset, but they're definitely like, we could be up at match point right now. We could be closing out. We could be going to dinner early, but instead, here we are where they very likely could just lose to Fnatic here and be knocked down to face the winner of Mad or Rogue.
And let's take a small step backwards and just look at everything holistically, us watching this series as both people on the broadcast and fans. I'm so happy that this is likely going the distance.
Yeah, finally.
Oh.
This will be our first 5-game series in playoffs, right? Like, we always get 3-1s, we got 3-0s.
Yeah.
I mean, this is... 5 games are always the best. Silver Scrapes is the dream. And once again, 2019 summer, the best playoffs you ever had, in my opinion. If we can get 2 5-game Fnatic versus G2 series, oh, that is the European dream. Sorry, Mad and Rogue, but that is the European dream.
Yeah, you look at last year, it went to 5 games both times, so I think this time's going to go to 5 games too.
Let's go. I mean, Fnatic fans don't want to hear that, so we'll see what they do. Fnatic and G2 are putting on one hell of a show, and the series is far from over. Game 4 is up next, right after this.
A little over a year ago, there was an incredible conspiracy theory posted about me on YouTube. It was so fucking insane, it made Alex Jones sound like Stephen Hawking. In a nutshell, it was basically a video accusing me of being a Zionist shill promoting some kind of Jewish overlord agenda to control the minds of people through the normalization of interracial lesbian porn, and my constant wearing of a white t-shirt was proof of the baseline consciousness that I was trying to hijack. It was a narrative so unhinged it makes a Hideo Kojima play. It was fucking wild. And you know how people always say, oh, internet forever, even if you delete it? Well, that's fucking bullshit. I don't believe that anymore because the video is not on YouTube. Fucking of its existence. You know, it's just so single people were talking about it. I couldn't find anything. Not even a fucking screenshot of the thumbnail. I was so disappointed because the thumbnail was one of the best I've ever seen. It was me sitting in my chair, and it had the standard YouTuber clickbait red arrow and circle, but the big red arrow and circle was on the Watto statue that used to be behind me, and it pointed at Watto and said, normalizing porn, as if putting words in Watto's mouth, accusing Watto is porn. I don't know, I haven't read Lucas's undercover scripts or anything, but the thumbnail was fucking fantastic, and I can't find any evidence of its existence anymore. It only lives on in the memories and the wet dreams of people that got to see the video. It's like trying to track down one of the original 10 Commandments or some shit. I don't know why it's so fucking hard to find. But luckily, I did at least find something. So, we talked about this on episode 121 of the official podcast briefly, and luckily Kaya has immortalized some of the precious audio segments from the video. It's not all of minutes worth, but at least it's something from the video. He's like the Library of Alexandria's best fucking bookkeeper. He at least had some documented evidence of its existence, so we'll get to hear some of it. I'll share it with you. But man, I just wanted to talk about this because I wanted to go back and watch it today because I was just thinking about it out of the blue, but I couldn't find it. So I went on this like 3-hour-long quest, this adventure to try and find this ancient relic, and it unfortunately no longer exists. It was an extremely racist video. The person that made it is extremely racist, and the reason why it's probably not on YouTube anymore is probably for that reason, or he got thrown into Arkham Asylum, because it was actual insanity. The whole channel was fucking nuts. And the people that were starting to congregate there, it was a weird group of people. So I understand why it's not there anymore, but I'm just shocked that nobody has a re-upload anywhere on the internet, or even so much as a screenshot.
Who is always dressed in white and black, of course, to represent the base consciousness. There it is. To help normalize the agendas, to normalize the sexual confusion, the depopulation, the sexual degeneracy, and porn is pushing all these things. One of the biggest things that porn pushes is interracial and all that, especially when it comes to white and black, which is another way to just really program a lot of people into all kinds of nasty things. It's really crazy what they're doing with the porn industry. Now, this guy doesn't have to be in a room with a shitty setup with a white t-shirt on. This is all part of the act.
I didn't get to that.
Charlie actually has a broadcasting studio just outside that room.
Right next to my mind ray. It's at...
You see the related channels on the side here. All your Zio media.
All your Zio media. Zionist media. And one of the channels that are recommended on Charlie's sidebar is PewDiePie.
Every day going